Act 1 of The Law Against Lovers by William Davenant. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
Duke of Savoy, read by Alan Mapstone.
Angelo, read by Ariel Lipshaw.
Escalus, a Counselor, read by Todd.
Beatrice, read by Elizabeth Klett.
Balthazar, read by David Warner.
Julietta, read by Amanda Friday.
Viola, read by Charlotte Duckett.
Servant, Hangman, first page, read by Rapunzelina.
Benedict, read by M.B.
Lucio, read by Trisha G.
Claudio, read by Lambda.
Provost, read by Algie Pug.
Friar Thomas, read by Elizabeth Klett.
Isabella, read by Elizabeth Barr.
Francisca, read by Grace Garrett.
Fool, read by Beth Thomas.
Maid, second servant, read by Capricia Page.
Jailer, second page, read by Christine G.
Narrator, read by Michelle Eaton. Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Duke, Angelo, and attendants.
I am sure in this your science does exceed the measures of advice, and to your skill by deputation I resolve to leave a while my place and strength.
Your Highness does amaze me with your trust.
Your brother will be here tonight, and brings his share of victory and fair renown. That victory gives me now free leisure to pursue my old design of travelling, whilst, hiding what I am in fit disguise, I may compare the customs, prudent laws, and managements of foreign states with ours.
Your Highness has a plenteous choice of men, whom you may here depute with more success than my abilities can promise.
Here, take your commission, in which we have enabled you with all the several strengths and organs of my power. Your youth may bear that weight which tires my age.
In this acceptance, sir, I do with some unwillingness obey your pleasure.
Heaven does with us as we with torches do, not light them for themselves, but others' use. For if our virtues go not forth of us, it were alike as if we had them not. Be thou at full ourself whilst we are absent from our seat in Turin.
Sir, I could wish there were more trial of my metal made, before so noble and so great a figure as your own be stamped on it.
No more evasion. I have proceeded towards you with choice, sufficiently prepared.
Enter Aeschylus.
Good Aeschylus, your ceremony now of taking leave must needs be short. You know the purpose of my trust to Angelo, who here has my commission sealed.
Your Highness, having been so long resolved to travel, could not leave a deputation of your power in better hands.
Farewell. Our haste from hence is of import. You shall, as time and fit occasion serves, have letters from us, and I hope I know, with equal care, what does befall you here.
Will not your Highness give us leave to bring you onward on the way?
My haste permits it not. You need not, on mine honour, have to do with scruple, for your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or qualify the laws as to your soul seems good. Give me your hand, I'll privately away. I love the people, but would not on a stage salute the crowd. I never relished their applause, nor think the prince has true discretion who affects it. Be kind still to your brother Benedict, and give him that respect which he hath by his share in victory deserved. Once more, farewell.
The heavens give safety to your purposes.
Lead forth, and bring you back in happiness.
Exit Duke.
I shall desire you, Aeschylus, to let me have free speech with you, for it concerns me much to see the bottom of my place. The Duke has left me power, but of what strength and nature it will prove may happily require your friendship to consider.
My lord, if it shall please you to withdraw, you may command my secrecy and service.
Exeunt. Enter Beatrice, Julietta, Viola, Balthazar.
Does Signor Benedick return tonight?
We may expect him presently. He brings a share of conquest with him, and intends to make a modest entry here by stealth. But he is still as pleasant as you left him.
How many has he killed and eaten in these wars? But pray, how many has he killed? For I promised to eat all of his killing.
He has done great service in these wars, lady.
Sure, you had musty victual then, and he has helped to eat it. I know, sir, he is a valiant trencherman, and has a good stomach.
He is a good soldier, lady.
A good soldier to a lady? But what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honourable virtues.
Oh, he is, indeed, no less than a stuffed man. But for the stuffing, well, we are all mortal.
Do not mistake my cousin Beatrice, sir. There is a kind of a merry war between Count Benedick and her. They never meet, but there is a skirmish of wit between 'em.
He got nothing by that. In our last encounter 4 of his 5 wits did go halting off, and now the whole man is governed by one. I pray, sir, who's his companion now? For he was wont every month to have a new sworn brother.
Is't possible?
Very possible. He wears his faith but as the fashion of his hat. It still changes with the next block.
Madam, the gentleman is not in your books.
If he were, I've heard my sister say she'd burn her study.
Small mistress, have you learnt that in your primer? This, madam, is a pretty bud of wit.
A bud that has some prickles, sir. Take heed, you cannot gather me.
But, Signor Balthazar, I pray, who is Count Benedick's companion?
At idle seasons, madam, he is pleased to use no better company than mine.
Oh, he will hang on you like a disease. He's sooner caught than the pestilence, and the taker does run presently mad. Heaven help you, Balthazar, if you have caught the Benedict, for it will cost you more than 1,000 to be cured.
I wish I may hold friendship with you, lady.
You have the wit, sir, to wish for yourself.
You'll never run mad, cousin.
Not till a hot January.
Enter servant.
Madam, your guardian's brother, Count Benedick, is newly entered.
The man of war, having been fleshed in the last battle, will bear all before him. Let us sound a retreat, and hide ourselves behind the hangings to mark his behaviour.
Dear sister, let me hide myself too.
Beatrice, Viola, Julietta step behind the hangings.
Pray do, with a bond rays from the sun. Madam, I'll leave you to your ambush.
Enter Benedick, Aeschylus.
My brother private in affairs of state.
My lord, he is at this instant much reserved. But when I shall acquaint him you are here, he will dismiss his business to receive and welcome you.
Signor Aeschylus, I thank you. But it is fit our private love should give free way to service which concerns the public profit. I am, sir, in some trouble that I could not have the happiness of paying my obedience to his highness ere he went. Will he be absent long?
That is unknown even to your brother Angelo, who is his full vice-regent here, and hath received commands to let you taste his power to every use that can procure you any benefit, in memory of your last service.
Enter Lucio.
My lord, you are most happily returned, and met with all the joys we can express.
Lucio! Oh, Lucio, I am much pleased to see you well. It gives me hope that I shall have but few sad evenings here in Turin, if the beauties which I left be not quite withered, their voices cracked, and their lutes hung on willows.
My lord, I am not only hastened hither by my love to be the first that shall congratulate your good success abroad, but to entreat your aid at home. If you will please but to take leave of that grave magistrate a while, I shall deliver you a message from mankind.
How, Lucio? That is of concern indeed. Signor, I shall beseech you to observe my brother's leisure, that I may attend him.
Your lordship is most welcome in Turin.
Exit Aeschylus.
Now, Lucio, speak your affair from that great commonwealth which sent you, mankind.
They are too many for you to inquire, particularly after their healths. Therefore he may without ceremony proceed.
You have heard of the supreme power placed in Count Angelo, your brother?
I have, Lucio.
Under your favour, sir, I may say the beginning of his rule is not pleasing to the best sort of men. He deals very hardly with lovers.
I am sorry to hear that of a brother.
My lord, I am more sorry to report it. He has already revived an old law, which condemns any man to death who gets, being unmarried, a woman with child.
How, Lucio? Does he mean to govern like the tyrant Turk with eunuchs of his council?
You must assuage the choler of his wisdom, and put him in mind that men are frail.
This business, Balthazar, requires our care. For we having professed against the bonds of marriage, and he restraining the liberty of lovers, the good Duke, when he returns, will find no children left in Turin.
For my part, sir, I only fear the destruction of learning. For if there be no children, farewell grammar schools.
Come, we must sit in council, Balthazar, increase our party, and still defy marriage.
We cannot hear him, Juliet. Let us enter.
Enter Beatrice, Julietta, Viola.
My dear Lady Disdain, are you yet living?
Can Disdain die when she has so fit food to feed it as Benedick?
I am beloved of all ladies, only you excepted. And I am sorry they must lose their size, for I've a hard heart and can love none.
A happiness to women, who would else be troubled with a most pernicious suitor. But I can answer your humour, for I had rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
Well, keep in that mind, lady, for then some of my friends may escape a predestinate scratched face.
Scratching could not make it worse if it were such a face as Benedick's.
You are a rare parrot, teacher.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
Would my horse had the speed of your tongue. But keep your way, I've done.
Juliet, he always ends with a jade's trick.
The gentleman's wit is tired after spurring.
You are welcome home, my lord. Have you brought us pendants and fine fans from the wars?
What, my sweet bud, you've grown to a blossom.
My sister has promised me that I shall be a woman, and that you shall make love to me when you're old enough to have a wife.
This is not a chip of the old block, but will prove a smart twig of the young branch.
Enter Aeschylus and servant.
Lord Angelo expects you, sir, and this fair company.
Exit Beatrice, Benedict, Balthazar, Julietta, Aeschylus, Viola.
Signor Claudio, now under an arrest, desires to speak with you.
How? Under arrest? The governor's house is no proper place for a prisoner's visit. Pray favour me so much as to tell him that I'll come down to receive his commands.
Exit servant Lucio. Enter Provost Claudio. Officers.
Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down for our offence by weight.
Enter Lucio.
Claudio, how now? From whence comes this restraint?
From too much liberty. As sure fate is the father of a fast, so liberty, by the immoderate use, turns to restraint. Our nature does pursue an evil thirst, and when we drink we die.
If I could speak as wisely under arrest, I would send for some of my creditors. Yet, to say truth, I had rather enjoy the foppery of freedom than the wise morality of imprisonment. What is thy offence, Claudio?
To speak of it were to offend again.
What is it, murder?
No.
I believe 'tis that which the precise call incontinence.
You may call it so.
Enter Balthazar.
I am told Claudio is arrested.
'Tis too true, Balthazar.
What is his crime?
Lord Angelo has taught us so much modesty that I am ashamed to name it.
What, is there a maid with child by him?
No, but I fear there is a woman with maid by him.
Signor, I shall offend if you stay here. Be pleased to go.
Provost, allow me but a few words more.
Pray, Claudio, speak your mind. We are your friends.
I grieve to tell you, gentlemen, that I have got possession of Julietta's bed. She is my wife by sacred vows, and by a contract sealed with the form of witnesses. But we the ceremony lack of marriage, and that unhappily we did differ only for the assurance of a dowry remaining in the coffers of our friends, from whom we thought it fit to hide our love, till time had mastered their consent to it. But so it happens that our oft stolen pleasure is now writ, with characters too gross in Juliet.
With child, perhaps.
'Tis so, and the new deputy awakens all the enrolled penalties which have been 19 years unread, and makes me feel the long neglected punishment, by such a law as 3 days after arrest requires the forfeit of my head.
Thy head stands now so slightly on thy shoulders that a milkmaid, if she be in love, may sigh it off.
Lucio, you are a stranger to Lord Angelo, but I well know the sourness of his soul, and I was told in passing to you hither that Juliet is arrested in his house, and forced from the protection of the Lady Beatrice, his fair ward.
I like it not. Send quickly to the Duke, and then appeal to him.
I have done so, but he is not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, lend me thy assistance. This day my sister should the cloister enter, and there receive her approbation, acquaint her with the danger I am in, implore her in my name, that she make friends. To the strict deputy she must herself assay him. I have great hope in that, for in her youth there is a sweet and speechless dialect, such as moves men, and well she can persuade.
I wish she may. I would be loath that any of my friends should foolishly play away their lives at a game of tic-tac.
We will both to her presently.
Come, officers, away.
Enter Duke and Friar Thomas.
No, holy father, throw away that thought. Love's too tender to dwell in my cold bosom. I desire you to give me secret harbour, for a design more grave and wrinkled than the aims of giddy youth can have.
May your grace speak of it?
None, holy father, better knows than you how I have ever liked a life retired, and still have weary of assemblies been where witless youth comes dressed to be adored. I have delivered to Lord Angelo, a man of strictness and firm abstinence, my absolute power and place here in Turin, and he believes me travelling to Spain. Now, pious sir, you will demand of me why I did this.
I fain would know.
We have strict statutes and chastising laws, which I have suffered 19 years to sleep, even like an overgrown lion in a cave that goes not out to prey. But as fond fathers bind up the threatening rod, and stick it in their children's sight for terror more than use, till it in time becomes more marked than feared, so our decrees dead to infliction to themselves are dead, and forward liberty does justice strike, as infants beat the nurse.
This tied up justice, sir, you might have soon let loose, which would have seemed more dreadful than an Angelo.
Too dreadful, sir. For since it was my fault to give the people scope, it may seem tyranny to punish them for what I bid them act. We do no less than bid unlawful actions to be done when evil deeds have their permissive pass.
I am convinced.
I have on Angelo imposed the unpleasant power of punishing, who may, within the ambush of my name, strike home. And, to behold how he does rule, I will, as if I were a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore, I pray, supply me with the habit, and instruct me how I may in person a true friar seem. I can allow you no more reasons for this action now, than that Lord Angelo stands at a guard with envy, and does scarce confess that his blood flows. The man seems singular, but we shall see, if power change purpose, what our seemers be.
Exeunt. Enter Isabella and Francisca, a nun.
But have you nuns no further privilege?
Are not these large enough?
They are. I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint were on the sisterhood vowed to St. Clare.
Ho, peace be in this place.
Lucio, Balthazar, within.
Who is it that does call?
It is a man's voice. Gentle Isabella, pray turn the key and know his business of him. You may, I may not. You are yet unsworn. When you are vowed, you must not speak with men, but in the presence of the prioress. Then, if you speak, you must not show your face, or if you show your face, you must not speak.
Ho, the sisterhood!
He calls again. I pray you answer him.
Peace and prosperity. Who is't that calls?
Enter Lucio, Balthazar.
Hail, Virgin! Please you befriend us so as to permit us to the sight of Isabel, a novice of this place, and sister to young Claudio, her unhappy brother.
Why her unhappy brother? Let me ask, the rather since I now must make it known I am that Isabella, and his sister.
Gentle and fair, your brother kindly greets you.
We cannot, Lucio, come too suddenly, with sorrows to a mind prepared. 'Tis fit you tell her that her brother is in prison.
Ay me, for what?
For that which cannot be excused, and yet, perhaps if he were tried by judges not much older than himself, would have an easy punishment. He has, I hope unwillingly, got his friend with child.
Sir, make me not your scorn.
I would not, though 'tis my familiar sin to jest with maids, play with all virgins so. I hold you as a thing enshrined, and to be talked with as a saint in all sincerity.
You heard the good in mocking me.
Believe what he has said is truth.
Someone with child by him? My cousin Juliet.
Is she your cousin?
Adoptedly, schoolmates change their names.
She it is.
Let him marry her.
Married they are in the sight of heaven, though not with such apparent forms as makes the law approve and witness it.
The Duke is very strangely gone from hence, and, with full force of his authority, Lord Angelo now rules, a man whose blood is very snow broth, one who never feels the wanton motions of the sense, but does rebate and blunt his natural edge with morals, lady. He studies much, and fasts.
To frighten libertines who long have scaped, and silently have run by a sleeping face of hideous law, as mice by lions steal, Lord Angelo has hastily awaked, a dreadful act, under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into desperate forfeit.
All hope is gone, unless you have the grace, by moving prayers, to soften Angelo.
Does he so sternly seek his life?
He has already sentenced him, and, as I hear, the provost has a warrant for his execution.
Alas, what poor abilities have I to do him good?
Make trial of what power you have.
My power, alas, I doubt.
Go to Lord Angelo, and let him know, when virgins sue, men give like gods. But when they weep and kneel, no power has then so much of devil in it as not to yield.
I'll see what I can do.
But speedily.
I will about it straight, not staying longer than to give the mother notice of my business. I humbly thank you. Commend me to my brother. Soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success.
We take our leaves.
Heaven guide you, gentlemen. And so prepare to Angelo my way, as if St. Clare did prompt me how to pray.
Exeunt. End of Act 1. Act 2 of The Law Against Lovers by William Davenant. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Angelo Benedick.
But for ill-doing, sir, must Claudio die?
The law appoints that he who gets a child unlawfully must die.
But must a man be requited with death for giving life to another?
We must not make a scarecrow of the law, setting it up to fright our birds of prey, and let it keep one shape till custom makes it not their terror but their perch.
Call, sir, your own affections to account. Had time concurred with place, or place with wishing, and had the resolution of your blood found means to attain the effect of your own purpose, perhaps in some hot season of your life even you, sir, would have erred in that for which you censure him.
'Tis one thing to be tempted, Benedick, another thing to fall. I not deny the jury, passing on a prisoner's life, may, in the sworn 12, have a thief or two guiltier than him they try. What knows the law whether thieves pass on thieves? You cannot lessen his offence because I have offended too. But tell me at that time, when I, who censure him, do so offend, and my own judgment then shall be a pattern for my death. Brother, he must die.
Sir, when I heard you had the place of justice, I did not think your gravity did mean to swagger with her broadsword. Can Dame Justice become so soon so notable a cutter?
You have leave to be pleasant, but I pray, listen to Aeschylus, he'll give you counsel.
Exit and enter Aeschylus.
Good Aeschylus, I should have found you out. Is there no means to save poor Claudio's life?
Your brother has given order to the provost to see his execution punctually performed by 9 tomorrow morning.
A short warning for a terrible long journey.
A confessor will be sent to prepare him.
I'm told, Signor Aeschylus, you have counsel for me.
My lord, I'll not presume to call it mine. 'Tis from your brother, who does well advise that you would please to think of marriage. You know the Lady Beatrice was his ward, and now her wardship is expired.
Marry? What, to beget boys for the headsman?
Good, my lord, leaving your severity, you needs must think her beauty worth your praise.
She's too low for a high praise, and too little for a great praise. But thus far I'll commend her. Were she other than she is, she were then unhandsome. and being no other but as she is, I do not like her.
My proposal deserves a steady answer.
My brother, sir, and I walk several ways. He takes care to destroy unlawful lovers, and I'll endeavour to prevent the increase of lawful cuckolds.
None of the beauteous sex can have more virtue than fair Beatrice.
Sir, I sincerely allow your opinion. She is yet very exceedingly virtuous, and has a laziness towards love. But, sir, she has too much wit, and great wits will not long lie idle.
You have too much mirth to have suspicion.
As I will not do ladies so much wrong to mistrust any, so I'll do myself the right to trust none.
This suits not with your brother's purpose.
Enter Lucio, Balthazar.
Welcome. Are either of you inclined to marriage?
How, marriage? It is a noose for ninnies. Do you think I will have a retreat winded on my forehead, or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric?
If I ever marry, let mine eyes be picked out with the pen of a ballad maker, and hang me up from the door of a brothel for the sign of blind Cupid.
You see, Signor Escalus, my brother makes so many enemies to propagation, that if the Duke stay long, he may chance find a dominion without subjects.
If he have any, they will need no governor, for they will all be old enough to govern themselves.
Enter Beatrice, Viola.
Here comes the Lady April, whose fair face is always incident to some foul weather.
I wonder you will still be talking, Benedick. Nobody marks you.
I mean to drink opium before I come in your company, that you may excuse my follies with saying I talk in my sleep.
Where is Lord Angelo?
Madam, he is retired.
What, to his prayers, as executioners kneel down and ask pardon before they handle the axe?
Hail and Mainbold, and the storm begins.
Heaven send the good Duke here again. Do you not hear, Signor Escalus, of the mutiny in town?
No, madam. Is there a mutiny?
All the midwives, nurses, and milkwomen are up in arms, because the governor has made a law against lovers.
True. The law is that none who have not been bound prentices to Hymen shall set up in the trade of making children.
Madam, you will marry, and have your freedom.
Marry? Yes, if you will fashion me a man of a middle constitution, between Lord Angelo's Carthusian gravity and his brother Benedick. The one is too like a state image and says nothing, and the other too like a country lady's eldest son, evermore talking.
Nay, do but persecute my brother, and I am satisfied.
Signor Escalus, is not my wardship out?
Yes, madam.
And this house where the governor lives mine own?
Madam, it is.
Methinks my guardian is but a rude tenant. How durst he with unmanly power force my cousin Juliet from me?
Lady, it was the law that used that force.
The law? Is she not married by such vows as will stand firm in heaven? That's the substantial part which carries the effect. And must she then be punished for neglect of form? Must conscience be made good by compliment?
My brother will have men behave themselves to heaven as boys do to their pedants. They must not say grace without making their legs.
I am glad, Benedick, to hear you're sometimes in the right.
I am in the right, lady, only as often as you are in the wrong.
Pray, Signor Escalus, desire my guardian to let the divines govern the civilians. I would have my cousin's spiritual marriage stand good in conscience, though 'tis bad in law. She must not be locked up within thick walls and iron grates. A woodbine arbour will prove strong enough to hold a lady, when she is grown so weak as to be in love.
Pray, sister, why is Juliet in prison?
Peace, Viola, you are too young to know.
She played with a bearded baby, mistress, contrary to law.
Alas, poor Juliet! I'll sing no more to the governor till he lets her out.
Sir, the deputy drinks too much vinegar. It makes his disposition sour.
Pray, madam, tell him so.
No, sir, you statesmen manage your discourse amongst yourselves by signs. I am not mute enough to understand your mysteries. Come, Viola, I'll write to the Duke.
Exeunt Beatrice, Viola.
This would make a rare wife, were she not a woman.
You with the men, and she with the maids, will quickly forbid all banes.
If we do not bring ill poesies of wedding rings out of fashion, let's not be numbered with the wits.
Exeunt. Enter Angelo and Provost.
What is your business, Provost?
Is it your will Claudio shall die tomorrow?
Did I not say he should? Had you not order? Why do you ask again?
lest I might be too rash. Under your good correction, I have seen, when after execution the wise judge has his rash doom repented.
Do you your office, or else give it up, and you shall well be spared.
I crave your Excellency's pardon. What shall be done with the weeping Juliet?
Dispose of her to some apartment in the prison, where Claudio may not see her.
Enter servant.
Here is a sister of the man condemned, desires access to you.
Already is his sister come. She has the reputation, Provost, of a virtuous maid.
Ay, my good lord, a very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of a sisterhood.
Let her be admitted.
Exit servant.
Provost, take care that Juliet be removed at distance from her lover.
Enter Lucio, Isabella.
Heaven still preserve your excellences.
Stay here a while. You are welcome. What's your will?
I am a woeful suitor to your excellence, if you in goodness will vouchsafe to hear me.
What is your suit?
There is a vice which most I do abhor, and most desire that it should meet rebuke, for which I would not plead, but that I must.
Well, come to the matter.
I have a brother is condemned to die. I would beseech you to condemn the fault, and not my brother.
Heaven give thee moving graces.
Is not each fault condemned ere it be done? I were the very cipher of authority if I should find the fault, whose fine stands in record, and yet forgive the actor.
Oh, just but yet severe law! I had a brother then. Heaven keep you, sir.
Give it not over so. To him again. Kneel down before him. Ye are too cold.
Must he needs die?
Virgin, no remedy.
Yes, I believe that you might pardon him, and neither heaven nor man would at the mercy grieve.
I will not do it.
You can then, if you would.
That which I should not do, I cannot do.
But you may do it, sir, and do the world no hurt. I would your heart were touched with such remorse as mine is to him.
He's sentenced. 'Tis too late.
You are too tame.
Too late? I who have spoke a word may call the meaning back. No ceremony, no ornament which to the great belongs, not the king's crown, nor the deputed sword, the marshal's truncheon, nor the judge's robe, become them with so beautiful a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you, and you as he, you might have erred like him, but he, like you, would not have been so stern.
I pray be gone.
Would heaven, if you were Isabel, that I a while might have your power, to let you see how soon the sorrow of a sister's tears should cleanse the foulness of a brother's fault.
That is the vein. Touch it boldly.
Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words.
Alas, alas! All souls were forfeit once, and he who might the advantage best have took found out the remedy. What would you do if he, who on the utmost top of heights on judges sits, should judge you as you are?
Be you content, fair maid. It was the law, not I, condemned your brother. Were he my kinsman or my son, it should be with him thus. And he must die tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, that's sudden. Spare him, spare him! He is not prepared. Even for our kitchens we the fowl of season kill. Shall we serve heaven with less respect than we would minister to our gross selves? My lord, in mercy speak, who is it that has died for this offence? Too many have committed it.
Well said.
The law has not been dead, though it has slept. Those many had not dared to act that crime, if he, who first the edict did infringe, had answered for his deed. 'Tis now awake, takes note of what is done, and, prophet-like, looks in a glass, which shows what future ills might by remissness be in progress hatched.
Yet show some pity.
I show it most when I most justice show, for I commiserate then even those whom I shall never know, and whose offences, if they were forgiven, might afterwards destroy them, and also do him right, who, punished for one pleasing crime, lives not to act another. Be satisfied. Your brother dies tomorrow.
So you, my lord, must the first that e'er the sentence gave, and he the first that suffers it? 'Tis excellent to have a giant's strength, but tyrannous to use it like a giant.
Well said again.
If men could thunder as great Jove does, Jove ne'er would quiet be, for every choleric petty officer would use his magazine in heaven for thunder. we nothing should but thunder here. Sweet heaven! Thou rather with thy stiff and sulphurous bolt dost split the knotty and obdurate oak than the soft myrtle. O but man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he thinks himself assured, does in his glassy essence, like an angry ape, play such fantastic tricks before high heaven, as would make angels laugh if they were mortal and had spleens like us.
To him! He will relent. I feel him coming.
Pray heaven she gain him.
Why do you use this passion before me?
Authority, though it does err like others, yet has a kind of medicine in itself which skins the top of every vice. Knock at your bosom, sir, and ask your heart if it contains no crime resembling my poor brother's fault. And then if it confess a natural guiltiness such as his is, let it not sound a sentence from your tongue against my brother's life.
She speaks such sense as with my reason breeds such images as she has excellently formed. Farewell.
Gentle my lord, turn back.
I will bethink me. Come again tomorrow.
Hark, how I'll bribe you, good my lord. Turn back.
How? Bribe me?
Ay, with such gifts that heaven shall share with you.
You had marred all else.
With early prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there before the morning's casement opens to the world, the prayers of fasting maids.
Well, come to me tomorrow.
Enough, away.
All that is good be near your excellence.
I thank you.
At what hour shall I attend you?
At any time ere noon.
The angels still preserve you.
Exeunt all but Angelo.
From all but from thy virtue, maid. I love her virtue. But temptation, oh! Thou false and cunning guide, who in disguise of virtue's shape leadst us through heaven to hell. No vicious beauty could with practised art subdue, like virgin innocence, my heart.
Exit. Enter Duke in disguise of a friar and Provost.
Hail to you, Provost. So I think you are.
I am the Provost. What's your will, good father?
Bound by my charity and my blessed orders, I come to visit the afflicted minds in prison here. Do me the common right to let me see them, and to let me know the nature of their crimes, that I may minister accordingly to their relief.
I would do more than that, if more were needful.
Enter Julietta.
Look, here comes one, who in the flames of youth has blistered her fair fame. She is with child, and he that got it sentenced.
When must he die?
As I believe, tomorrow. I'll go in and prepare him for your visit. In the meantime, bestow your counsel here.
Exit Provost.
Repent you, fair one, of the sin you carry?
I bear my punishment most patiently.
I'll teach you how you shall arraign your conscience, and try your penitence.
I'll gladly learn.
Loved you the man that wronged you?
Yes, as I loved the woman that wronged him.
So then it seems you mutually have sinned.
We mutually have sinned against the law, and I repent for it, but am as much afflicted at my ignorance, not knowing 'twas a sin when I transgressed, as at the sin itself.
If, daughter, you repent that sin, because it brings you shame, it is a common and an erring grief, which looks more at ourselves than towards heaven, not sparing heaven for love, but fear.
As 'tis an evil, I repent, and grieve not for the shame, because you think it is deserved.
There rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow, and I am going with instructions to him. Grace go with you.
Exit.
Must die tomorrow? O injurious love! It respites me a life whose very best is still a dying horror.
Exit. Enter Claudio, Lucio, Balthazar.
Claudio, to tarry longer with you now were but to lose that time which we must husband for your benefit. No care is wanting in your sister, nor in us.
Our lawyers make good merchandise of women. The head of a man pays for a maidenhead.
There is no rack so painful in this prison, and that which stretches me 'tween hope and doubt. All I desire is certainty.
When I leave this wanton world to meet death, I'll ride post to him on a hobby horse, and fence against his dart with a fool's bauble.
By all your loyal friendship, Balthazar, Let Juliet be protected with your care and courage from injurious tongues.
I will deserve your trust.
Pray serve her with a noble tenderness in all that her affliction shall require.
I need not such a strict command. Away, let's leave him to his meditations.
Remember, Claudio, this wicked world does homage to rich fools, and witty men want money.
Enter Provost.
A father desires to speak with you.
Exeunt Claudio, Provost.
Methinks it is too late for Claudio to expect a reprieve.
Hope is so familiar an acquaintance that, though she stays with us all day, yet we are loath to part with her at night.
Where is Benedick?
Gone to Beatrice. She just now sent for him.
We shall never outface the world with our invectives against marriage, for I find sexes will meet, though mountains and rough seas make a long space between them. Our design on Benedick and Beatrice must be pursued.
Let's to the governor's, and in a way I'll tell thee how we ought to manage it.
Exeunt. Enter Angelo.
My weighty office I can value now but as an idle plume worn in the wind.
Enter Servant.
The sister, sir, of Claudio desires access.
Show her the way into the gallery.
Exit Servant.
Why does my blood, thus flowing to my heart, make it unable for itself, whilst then it dispossesses other parts of that, which they in lesser streams would useful make? So deal officious throngs with him who swoons. They come to help him, and they stop the air by which he should revive. And so the numerous subjects to a well-wished king quit their own home, and in rude fondness to his presence crowd, where their unwelcome love does an offence, and an oppression prove.
Exit. End of Act 2. Act 3 of The Law Against Lovers by William Davenant. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Isabella, Angelo.
I am come to know your pleasure.
That you might know it would much better please me than to demand what 'tis. Your brother cannot live.
Even so. Heaven keep your excellence.
Stay a little. For he perhaps may live a while, nay, and as long as you or I, since none can know their own appointed ends. Yet he must die.
Under your sentence?
Yes.
When, I beseech you, that in his reprieve, longer or shorter, he may be so fitted that his soul may not suffer with his body.
He had a filthy vice. It were as good to pardon him that has from nature stolen a man already made, as to permit their saucy sweetness, who heaven's image coin in stamps which are forbid.
That is set down in heaven, but not on earth.
How? Say you so? Then I shall quickly pose you. Which had you rather, that the most just law should take your brother's life, or, to redeem him, give up your precious self to such a blemish as she permitted whom he stained?
I'll rather give my body than my soul.
I talk not of your soul. Our compelled sins do more for number stand than for account.
How say you, sir?
Nay, I'll not warrant that, for I can speak against the thing I say. Answer to this. I, now the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother's life. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life?
Please you to do't. I'll take it as a peril to my soul. It is no sin at all, but charity.
You, doing it at peril of your soul, make equal poise of sin and charity.
That I do beg his life. If it be sin, heaven let me bear it. If it be sin for you to grant my suit, I'll make it still my prayer to have it added to the faults of mine, and not to your account.
Nay, but hear me. Your sense pursues not mine. Sure you are ignorant, or seem so craftily, and that's not good.
Let me be ignorant, and in nothing good, but graciously to know I am no better.
Thus wisdom wishes to appear most bright when it does tax itself, as a black mask often proclaims a covered beauty more than beauty does itself when openly displayed. But mark me, Isabel, or if I may more plainly be received, I'll speak more home. Your brother is to die.
So.
And his offence is such, as it appears, accountant to the law.
True.
admit no other way could save his life, as I subscribe not that nor any other unless by way of question, but that you, finding yourself desired of such a man, whose credit with the judge could free your brother, must either yield the treasures of your youth, or else must let him die. What would you do?
As much for my poor brother as for Isabel. The impression of sharp whips I gladly would as rubies wear, and strip myself even for a grave as for a bed, ere I would yield my honour up to shame.
Then must your brother die.
And 'twere the cheaper way. Better it were a brother die a while, than a sister by redeeming him should die forever.
Are you then as cruel as that sentence which you have slandered so?
Ignoble ransom no proportion bears to pardon freely given, and lawful mercy is not at all akin to foul redemption.
You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and so your brother's guiltiness excused, as if it rather might be styled a recreation than a vice.
Oh, pardon me, my lord. Oft it falls out that pleaders speak not what they mean, and hope to get what they would have. I sometimes may excuse the thing I hate for his advantage whom I dearly love.
We are all frail.
Else let my brother die.
Nay, women are frail too.
Ay, as the glasses where they see themselves, which are as easily broke as they make forms. Women, help heaven! Pray call us 10 times frail, for we are soft as our complexions are, and soon a bad impression take.
And from this testimony of your own sex, since I suppose we are not made so strong but that our faults may shake our frames, let me be bold to arrest your words. Be what you are, that is a woman. If you are more, you are none. If you be one, as you are well expressed by all external warrants, show it now.
I have no tongue but one. Gentle my lord, let me entreat you speak the former language.
Plainly conceive. I love you.
My brother did love Juliet. You tell me he shall die for it.
He shall not, Isabel, if you give me love.
Your power may your discretion license give, and make you seem much fouler than you are to draw on others.
Believe me on mine honour, my words express my purpose.
Ha! Little honour to be much believed. Your purpose is pernicious now discerned. I will proclaim thee, Angelo. Look for't. Sign me a present pardon from my brother, or I will tell the world aloud what man thou art.
Who will believe you, Isabel? My unsoiled name, austerity of life, my word against you, and my place in the state will so your accusation overweigh that you'll be stifled in your own report. And now I give my sensual race the reins. Yield to my passion, or your brother must not only die, but your unkindness shall draw out his death to lingering pains. Tomorrow answer me, or by that love which now does guide me, I will be a tyrant to him.
Exit.
To whom shall I complain? If I tell this, who will believe it? I'll to my brother straight, that he may know false Angelo's request, and then prepare for his eternal rest.
Exit. Enter Benedick and Beatrice several ways.
I was told, lady, you would speak with me.
I would, and I would not.
Then I'll stay, or I will not stay. 'Tis all one to me.
Nay, I know you are but an indifferent man. Yet now, by chance, I rather am inclined that you should stay.
And 'tis a greater chance that our inclinations should so soon meet, for I will stay.
Your brother is a proper prince. He rules with a rod in's hand instead of a sceptre, like a country schoolmaster in a church. He keeps a large palace with no attendants, and is fit to have none but boys for his subjects.
As ill as he governs, if my design thrive against the fetters of marriage as his does against the liberty of lovers, his rule may last till the end of the world, for there will be no next generation.
Would I might trust you, Benedick.
Madam, you believe me to have some honour. If you have most secretly invented a new dressing, can you think I'll reveal the fashion before you wear it?
Notwithstanding your seeming indisposition to inventions of fashion, yet there be those in Turin who have intercepted packets between you and tailors of Paris. Well, though these are but light correspondence, yet I would trust you in matter of weight.
I hope, lady, you have no plot upon me. I'll marry no woman.
I did not think you had been so well-natured as to prevent the having any of your breed. Marry you? What should I do with you? Dress you in my old gown, and make you my waiting gentlewoman?
A waiting woman with a beard?
I shall ne'er endure a husband with a beard. I had rather lie in woollen.
Though you disguise matrimonial pretensions with pretty scorn, yet I am glad I have a beard for my own defence. And though fashion makes me have much, and that you shall believe me a lover of fashions, yet mine shall grow to a very bush for my greater security. But pray proceed your matter of weight.
I will trust you, not as a man of love, but a man of arms.
At your own peril. And more to encourage you, I will declare that though I'm very loath to come within the narrow compass of a wedding ring, yet I owe every fair lady a good turn. But to the business.
In brief, you must renew familiarity with your brother, and steal the use of his signet to seal Julietta's pardon and her liberty, and Claudio's too. This done, they shall practise their escape. I'll endeavour mine, and you, Signior, may shift for yourself.
This is but betraying an ill brother for a good purpose. I'll do it if I can.
You shall give me the signet, for I'll have all in my own management.
No, though I rob my brother of the signet, you shall not rob me of the danger.
Then I'll proceed no further.
That as you please.
You would have the honour of the business?
'Tis due to my sex.
Fare you well, sir. Yet you may come again an hour hence to receive an ill look.
Now that will not fright me much, for you can look no better than you used to do.
Exit Benedick at one door. Enter Viola at another.
Sister, I have got verses. Signor Lucio made them. He and Balthazar are within.
Is Lucio become a man of metre? That's the next degree upward to the giddy station of a foolish lover. They are composed into a song too. Sing it, Viola.
Wake all the dead, what ho, how soundly they sleep whose pillows lie low. They might not poor lovers who walk above, on decks of the world in storms of love. No whisper now nor glance can pass through wickets or through panes of glass. For our windows and doors are shut and barred, lie close in the church and in the churchyard. In every grave make room, the world's its end, and we come. The state is now love's foe, 'Twas seized his arm, his quiver and bow, has pinioned his wings and fettered his feet, because he made way for lovers to meet. But oh, sad chance, his judge grows old, hearts cruel grow when blood grows cold. No man being young this process would draw. Oh heaven, that love should be subject to law. Lovers go woo the dead, lie two in a grave and to bed.
Enter Lucio Balthazar.
Signor Lucio, you are grown so desperate as to write verses?
Very little business, much love, and no money makes up a parcel poet. But the verses are not mine.
Whose are they?
Balthazar knows the author.
Not better than you, who had them from him.
Pray, madame, let him tell you.
Excuse me, sir, I am as chary of getting my friend the ill name of a poet as you are.
Why, gentlemen, you will not make a secret of telling the hour of the day, when your watches are ready to strike. Pray, whose are the verses?
Madame, the author's name is Benedick.
Is't possible? I am glad he lies bare under the lash of the wits. There are now no such tormentors in Turin as the wits. Poor Benedick, they'll have him on the rack ere night. Why, they will draw a strong line to the subtle weakness of a spinner's thread.
I fear he will be quickly liable to a greater torment than any that the wits can inflict.
Madame, we are your vowed servants. We cannot choose but tell you all. Balthazar, you made the first discovery. You may speak it.
Madam, 'tis not civil to lengthen your expectation. He is in love.
In love? That were a sudden change, and would show more of the moon in him than is in a madwoman. Good Balthazar, with whom?
Lucio was ready to die laughing when he found it, and swore then he would tell you.
Keep your oath, Lucio. Who is't that has caught him?
Nay, madame, you now impose upon me.
Oh, let me entreat you.
Why then, as sure as you can love no lover, he loves you.
Oh, this sounds like fiction and design. Good Balthazar, he is but newly gone from hence. Go seek him out, and bring him back. Your friendship may prevail with him.
It will beget more mirth than belongs to a Morris in the month of May.
But I beseech you, no words of our discovery.
Exit Balthazar.
Signor, you may trust me. Perhaps, Lucio, you cannot think it strange that I believe you of my party, and fitter for my trust than Balthazar.
Oh no, madame. I have been trusted by young ladies ere now.
Are you sure Benedick loves me? He has no fashion of a lover in public.
Poor man, he has two contrary extremes of love madness. He is in company as fantastical as a fencer after his victory in a prize. But in private he will sigh more than an old Dutch pilot that has lost his ship.
I shall have rare diversion if his fit holds.
It is not good to jest away men's lives.
I see you are serious. But will you swear it?
If you can endure the coarseness of swearing, I've been unlucky at play in my time, and shall quickly swear like a losing gamester.
Stay, sir, you may take up the fool's commodity of belief without engaging of oaths. I know you are a man of excellent temper.
Madam, I swear by—
I pray, sir, hold.
Nay, if you would put me to it.
Lucio, you must dissuade him from his love, and I must trust you. I have but one heart, and that is already disposed of.
Madam, all lovers compared to Benedick are but lamentable courtiers in old clothes.
Truly, he was wont to be merry.
Ere he felt love, his heart was as sound as any bell, and his tongue was the clapper. For what his heart thought, his tongue would speak. Take heed, you must not lose him.
Lucio, my heart is designed to another.
Madam, may I be bold to inquire to whom?
You know the man.
Be he what he will, he must show as ugly as a tall man sitting on a low stool before a chimney, compared to Benedick.
You ought not to say so when I name him.
Madam, I dare justify my friend.
I shall be angry if you compare him to him whom I can name. Suppose it is Signor Lucio.
Madam, I confess comparisons are somewhat odious.
Oh, are they so? I pray let me advise you not to lessen yourself, though I perceive you cannot choose but make much of your friend.
Sits the wind on that side? I must hoist sail with top and topgallant.
But are you not tied, sir, by some deep vow to woo for Benedick? I am very tender of men's vows.
Will you believe me, madam?
Without oaths, I beseech you.
He knows as much the matter of this visit as I do the great Turk's particular inclination to red herring.
Are you in earnest?
Balthazar and I were only over officious to serve him.
Nor he is not in love?
No more than a man that goes continually to sea to make discoveries.
Then it appears a little strange that you made this hearty address for him.
On my honour, madam, it was to get some opportunity to move for myself.
And you think him no extraordinary wit?
So, a modest wit, somewhat out of countenance being laughed at, for then he grows as melancholy as a lodge in a warren.
Right, I used to laugh at him, and then there's a partridge wing saved at sight, for the fool will eat no supper.
Madam, I see you know him.
Signor Lucio, be kind to yourself.
Exit.
Lucio, if thou weren't anything but Lucio, I would hug thee to death. Some men in choler rail against fortune, but I adore her. She has made her sail of my mother's smock. I would the poets would send us a dozen such goddesses.
Enter Balthazar.
I have been seeking Benedick, and I am told now he's gone up the back stairs, and is in private with a deputy. Where's the Lady Beatrice?
Balthazar, trouble not yourself, for men may often lose their labour.
How so?
Benedick is not the man she aims at.
He's very singular and eminent, but I confess this angling for ladies is a very subtle sport.
They are fishes of fantastical palates, and will sometimes sooner bite at a worm than at a mayfly.
She has a full fortune, 12,000 crowns a year.
He will be safe from creditors that has her.
Enter Viola.
Signor Lucio, my sister would speak with you.
Exit.
Balthazar, I must e'en retire from business. You see, I cannot rest for ladies.
I prithee, put the matter home.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Duke in friar's habit, Claudio, and Provost.
Father, I thank you. I am now of death's small party, gainst the crowd who strive for life.
Enter Isabella.
What ho! Graced well within.
Who's there? The wish deserves a welcome.
Dear sir, ere long I'll visit you again.
Most reverend sir, I thank you.
My business is a word or two with Claudio.
You are welcome. Look, Signor, here's your sister.
Provost, a word.
As many as you please.
Bring me where I, concealed, may hear them speak.
Exeunt Duke Provost.
Now, sister, what's the comfort?
To such as earthly comforts used to be. Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador. Therefore your best appointment make with speed. Tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
Yes, brother, you may live. There is a devilish mercy in the judge, if you'll implore it, that will free your life, but fetter you till death.
Perpetual durance?
'Tis worse than close restraint, and painful too, beyond all tortures which afflict the body, for 'tis a rack invented for the mind.
But of what nature is it?
'Tis such as, should you give it your consent, would leave you stripped of all the wreaths of warm, all ornaments my father's valour gained, and show you naked to the scornful world.
Acquaint me with my doom.
If I could fear thee, Claudio, I should weep, lest thou a shameful life shouldst entertain, and 6 or 7 short winters more respect than a perpetual honour. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension, and the small beetle, when we tread on it, in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
Why give you me this shame? Think you I can a resolution fetch from tenderness? If I must die, I will welcome darkness as a shining bride.
There spoke my brother. There my father's grave uttered a cheerful voice. Yes, you must die. You are too noble to conserve a life by wretched remedies. Our outward saint does in his gracious looks disguise the devil. His filth within being cast, he would appear a pond, as foul as hell.
The princely Angelo?
Oh, he is uglier than the frightful fiend by pencils of our cloistered virgins drawn. Speak, Claudio. Could you think you might on earth be guiltless made by him, if I would heaven, which never injured us, foully offend?
Infernal Angelo! Can this be true?
Yes, he would clear you from your blackest crimes, by making me much blacker than himself. This night's the time when he would have me do what I abhor to name, or else you must be dead tomorrow.
Thou shalt not do it.
Oh, were it but my life, I would for your deliverance throw it down, most frankly, Claudio.
Thanks, dear Isabel.
Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Has he religion in him? Sure he thinks it is no sin, or of the deadly 7, he does believe it is the least.
Which is the least?
If it were damnable, he being wise, why would he for momentary taste of lust eternally be fed with fire? But Isabel,
what says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing,
and living shame more hateful. Sure you have studied what it is to die.
Oh, sister, 'tis to go we know not whither. We lie in the silent darkness, and we rot, where long our motion is not stopped. For though, in my graves, none walk upright, proudly to face the stars, yet there we move again, when our corruption makes those worms in whom we crawl. Perhaps the spirit, which is the future life, dwells salamander-like, unharmed in fire, or else with wandering winds is blown about the world. But if condemned like those whom our uncertain thoughts imagines howling, then the most loath and the most weary life which age or ache, want or imprisonment, can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas, alas!
Sweet sister, I would live, were not the ransom of my life much more than all your honour and virtue too, by which you are maintained, can ever pay without undoing both.
Prepare yourself. Your line of life is short.
I am prepared. But, sister, if your brother you did ever love, or if our mother's pity may your pattern be, let Juliet in your tender bosom dwell, who has no blemish. If such laws as innocent antiquity allowed were now of force, or if religion here in Turin did not more subsist by public form than private use.
You want authority to tax the law. Let your submission your last virtue be.
Will you be good to Juliet?
I will invite her to my breast, and to a cloistered shade, where we with mutual grief will mourn in sad remembrance of our loss.
Your promise is now registered in heaven. bear her this fatal pledge of our first woes.
Gives her a ring.
Farewell. To cloistral kindness both retire, where you may ever live above the rage of power and injuries of love.
Exit, and the Duke steps in.
Vouchsafe a word, young sister, but one word.
What is your will?
I would some satisfaction crave of that, in which you likewise may benefit.
My sorrows, father, hasten me away. I must beseech you to be brief.
The hand which made you fair has made you good. The assault which Angelo has to your virtue given, chance to my knowledge brings. I have o'erheard you, and with much astonishment I gaze on the image you have made of Angelo.
How is the noble Duke deceived in such a substitute, whose wickedness I will proclaim to all the world?
Your accusation he will soon avoid, by saying it was but a trial of your virtue made. Therefore I wish you would conceal his horrid purpose till fit time shall serve you at the Duke's return. Do you conceive my counsel good?
Father, I am obliged to follow it.
Where lodge you, virtuous maid?
The Sisterhood of St. Clare will soon inform you. I lodge in the apartment for probation.
There I'll attend you, daughter. Grace preserve you.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Benedick and Beatrice at several doors, and Viola with her.
Oh, sir, you are a very princely lover. You cannot woo but by ambassadors, and may chance to marry by proxy.
Your wit flows so fast that I'll not stem the tide. I'll cast anchor and consult in your cabin how to avoid danger. The rocks are very near us.
How now? Afraid of the deputy's ghost ere he be dead? My sister shall lead you through the dark.
There is the pardon signed for Juliet and for Claudio too.
I thank you, Benedick. Give it me.
You are as nimble as a squirrel, but the nuts are not so soon cracked.
Unless I have it, I'll take back my thanks.
If it be possible to fix Quicksilver, stay but a little.
What would you say?
Aeschylus is in the plot, and was brought to it with more fears than a furred alderman to an insurrection of prentices.
Signor Aeschylus? Could his gravity venture to change his gold chain for a halter?
I was fain to pretend hourly correspondence with the absent Duke, which gained me his respect. I assured him of promotion, and then he grew willing to betray his friend and fellow statesman, my brother. For men of that tribe are very loving, but especially to themselves. He surprised the signet and counterfeited the hand.
Give it me. I long to be about it.
A little patience. You would make yourself ready without your glass.
Oh, these male conspirators are so tedious.
I must convey it to the provost and engage his secrecy.
Make haste. You must not stay so long as to be civil to him at parting.
My coach attends me at the gate.
Oh, I forgot. Your two confederates have been here and brought verses from you.
Verses? And from me?
Yes, and they wooed for you. But Lucio was soon persuaded to speak for himself. He says you are a mere country wit.
I'll dip him in this plot, till he grow solemn with business. If it were fit to be malicious, that caitiff Lucio should have his coxcomb cut off for foolish treason.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Aeschylus meeting Benedick.
My lord, the warrant for the pardon. Have you it?
Why ask you, sir?
Still wear it in your hand, and watch it there.
I keep it between my finger and my thumb, as close as a catched flea. Are you afraid it will skip from me?
The matter is of dreadful consequence.
Fear nothing, sir. The world would still run swiftly round but for you state cripples who make it halt with your politic steps of too much caution.
If your brother, the deputy, circumvent me, you'll secure me by the Duke?
You shall add a lease of my life to your own. Be resolute, I am in haste.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Jailor, Julietta. Viola knocking within.
Cousin Juliet, are you here?
Jailor opens the door. Enter Viola.
This fellow looks like a man boiled in pump water. Is he married?
Are you not frighted with this dismal place? How does your sister? Speak. Does she not blush when she remembers me?
I bring you good news. Cousin, I would not meet that man in the dark. Does he dwell here to lock up children who are imprisoned for crying?
Tell me your happy news, dear Viola.
Nay, I can tell you none, yet 'tis very good. You shall hear them all tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the last in my short calendar.
I have heard more than I can speak. You shall come forth and lie with me, and dream all night of new dressings, and dance all day.
Would I had ne'er outlived this innocence.
Do your judges dwell here? Were I that man, I would walk in the dark and right them.
That man does do you hurt. Let us retire. Had I been withered at her beauty's spring, and stayed from growing at her growth of mind, I had not known the cruel nor the kind. Those who outlive her years do but improve the knowledge of those griefs which grow with love.
Exeunt. End of Act 3. Act 4 of The Law Against Lovers by William Davenant. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Enter Benedick, Lucio, Balthazar.
Lucio, you broke from our confederacy against marriage, then wooed in my behalf, and afterwards for yourself.
Do but hear me.
Excuses are like weak reserves after a battle is lost.
Let me be heard. For if poor Truth have a tongue of her own and must not use it, why then she may retire into a corner and weep out her eyes.
What can you say?
I meant no more love to the Lady Beatrice than I do to woo an arrested widow with a serenade at a prison grate. Balthazar knows my heart.
I know several of your hearts. Men are not in the fashion unless they have change of everything.
I ever thought her a mermaid.
How so?
From the breasts downwards she's as cold as a fish.
Well, Lucio, I'll call none but the four winds to account for what is past. Look, sir. Thus I blow away your offences. But you must be steady now and diligent. I told you my design for Claudio's preservation. The provost was your uncle's creature, and by him preferred.
The provost will make good our trust, and every character of gratitude.
You must engage him, Lucio, and discern by what pretext or obstacle the friar proceeds so far to interrupt our hopes.
I'll bind the provost to your service in his own shackles. And concerning the friar, I'll straight confess him, and you shall know all.
Be sudden and successful. Go!
Exit Lucio. Enter Beatrice and Page.
Oh, are you come? I would have cried you as a lost thing, but that I knew I should have the ill luck to find you again.
You trip it too fast. You need not be so swift to meet misfortune. I have just now a letter from the provost, who either suspects the truth of the pardon because I enjoined him to secrecy, or else is led by a friar to some fresh design.
Are we circumvented by a friar? Rather than not vex that friar, I'll invent a new sect, and preach in a hat and feather.
'Tis strange that men of their discretion should come abroad in old-fashioned gowns, and dressed with abominable negligence.
Business makes them great slovens, and they love to be busy.
And never observe the right seasons when they are necessary. For though we are content with their company when we are old and dying, yet methinks they should not trouble us with their good counsel when we are young and in good health.
Alas, poor bookmen, they were breeding.
Can we not separate the wicked provost from this scrupulous friar?
I have sent Lucio to him.
Benedick, we will cast off the serious faces of conspirators, and appear to the deputy as merry and as gay as nature in the spring. This house shall be all carnival, all masquerade.
Good. We will laugh him out of his politics, till he make paper kites of Machiavel's books, and play with his pages in the fields.
And shall we sing and dance?
Till the old senators lead forth the burghers' widows, and cry out for a pavin. Page, call Viola with her castanettos, and bid Bernardo bring his guitar.
Exit Page.
My brother will not endure this habitation.
He'll rather go to sea, and dwell in a gun-room.
Or lie round like a sexton's dog beneath the great bell in a steeple.
Viola strikes the castanettos within.
Hark! Viola has ta'en the alarm.
Those castanettos sound like a concert of squirrels cracking of nuts.
Enter Viola dancing a saraband, a while with castanettos.
Shall we stand idle in seasons of business? You have feathers on your head, Benedick. Have you none at your heels?
I am, lady, so very a kid at capering that you may make gloves of my skin. Balthazar, call for more music.
Not for me, sir. I can dance at the mere tolling of a bell.
They dance. After the dance, enter Aeschylus.
Have you no apprehension of the deputy? Are you insensible?
Do you suspect we are insensible by our want of motion?
You should provide my brother deputy a politician's quilted cap to cover his ears. 'Twill preserve him from noise.
These politic men should keep company with their fellow foxes in deep holes.
He'll grow so angry that he'll lay the punishments of law aside, and pistol us with his own hand.
This, signor, is not the right way to meet your brother's temper.
Signor, my meaning is to avoid the way where I may meet my brother. I'll prove a very crab to him, for still, as he proceeds, I propose to go backward.
I hope you'll be cautious about the pardon.
Pray, mingle so much courage with your wisdom as may bring you into the possibility of sleep again.
Sir, I more than beseech you not to provoke your brother's gravity with fantastical noises.
Believe me, we are politic, and do it to disguise that melancholy which belongs to design.
That may do well.
Go up and retire with him. If you stay here, he'll take you for a man of mirth, and then you'll lose his favour.
Exit Aeschylus.
'Tis fit, Benedick, you seek Lucio out, to learn quickly the provost's resolution. I'll go change my scene to the garden terrace, under your brother's window, that I may torment him with new noises.
Shall I fetch the great girls that make the bone lace to sing out of tune to their bobbins?
Do, Viola. Let them be long, lean wenches.
And we'll hang a dozen cages of parrots at his window to tell him what's o'clock.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Lucio and Provost.
I'd speak with that friar who obstructs the pardon.
His business with Claudio being done, he shall attend you.
Enter Fool in a shackle.
Fool? What, a prisoner? I thought fooling had been free.
Fooling is free before the wise, but truly, signor, a fool can no more suffer a fool than one of the wits can endure another wit.
You, sirrah, are committed for the worst kind of fooling. You have brought both sexes together.
A bawd? Alas, poor fool! Instead of being in jest, you have been in earnest.
I deal with persons of quality, with whom I thought fit to be mannerly. Was it civil to let them meet to no purpose?
You have been civil indeed.
All deeds must submit to interpretation. For my part, to prevent all animosities and heart-burnings between young men and women, I brought them lovingly together.
A bawd in a fool's coat.
Mistress Mitigation gave him the livery.
'Tis a villainous new disguise for the good old cause. How does Mother Midnight? What, she grows rich?
Signor, she's eaten up all her beef now, and is herself in the tub.
Powdered to make her last. 'Tis not amiss. But prithee, what mean those keys at thy girdle?
I have preferred him. He's an under-jailer.
You've but changed your dwelling, fool. Your office is the same, for you are wont to keep doors.
Enter Duke.
Sirrah, look to your prisoners. Signor Lucio, I shall leave you with this reverend father.
Exeunt Provost, Fool.
Good day, father.
And to you, sir, a long and a good life.
Father, I aim at no different things. If it be short and sweet, I'm satisfied.
How mean you, sir?
Nay, I'm not now prepared for confession. Besides, I'm in great haste. You must needs prevail with the provost to let the pardon pass.
Some hours after the date of the pardon, an order came hither for execution, which had proceeded too, if Friar Thomas had not, by help of the deputy's confessor, got a reprieve till tomorrow.
The absent duke was a true friend to lovers.
It seems you know the duke.
Know him? Yes, friar, very well. I had the honour to be of his counsel. But I mean, sir, in midnight matters. He was about once to raise a charitable foundation, not for lousy learning or such cripples as creep from lost battles, but for poor diseased lovers.
I did not think he had been amorous.
Who, he? Yes, as far as to your beggar of 50, and he used to put a ducat in her clack dish.
Is't possible? He was not, sure, in his youth this way inclined.
No, he began to steer the right course about 40. But, good man, he repented the lost time of his youth.
Exit.
Virtue's defensive armour must be strong. to 'scape the merry and malicious tongue.
Exit. Enter Jailor, Isabella.
Good friend, be courteous, and let Juliet know my name is Isabella, and I come to serve her. Will you so much favour me? There's for your pains.
You must stay here till I shall send her to you.
Exit Jailor.
A prison is too good a den for this rude beast.
Enter Julietta. Isabella salutes her.
Have comfort, sister. I must call you so, though the uncivil law will not allow you yet that name.
I am not worthy of it.
Since you have spoke so humbly of yourself, you must and shall be comforted. Perhaps, like conscience, love, when satisfied within, may oft offend the law, and yet not sin.
I find the greatest love is an offence, for greatest love is greatest confidence. When trusting those who for our credence woo, we trust them with our love and honour too.
I come to bring your sorrows some relief, and would your crime not lessen, but your grief.
How can I lose that honour which I gave to him who can and will that honour save?
When you your honour did to Claudio give, cousining yourself, you did our sex deceive. Honour is a public treasure, and 'tis fit law should in public form dispose of it.
O Isabella, you are cruel grown.
Sister, you gave much more than was your own.
I loved too much, yet for your brother's sake, who had that love, you my excuse should make.
My mother's life did fair example give, how after death we might unpunished live. She dying, did my childhood then assign to Claudio's care. He leaves you now to mine.
O heaven, you mean that Claudio still must die, and I am now become a legacy.
My friends are suing for your liberty, and that you may secure from penance be.
What need I for the shame of penance care? No blush e'er dyed the paleness of despair.
Do not with weeping vainly quench your eyes. Tears are to heaven a useful sacrifice, where every drop moves mercy, but they gain on earth no more remorse than common rain.
Is there no means your brother's life to save?
None that I would afford, or he would have. Yet can I not affirm that there is none.
O call back hope, which fast does from us run.
Sister, you call in vain, for when you know how wicked now Saint Angelo does grow, you will rejoice that death makes Claudio free, and think your bonds more safe than liberty.
Is Angelo as wicked as severe?
I more his kindness now than anger fear.
To what would tyrant force kindly persuade?
He gently treats, then rudely does invade. I dare not give his purposed sin a name. It is too hard a word for untaught shame.
False image of refined authority!
Unless I yield, my brother is to die. Just now I left the guards drawn up, who wait for execution at the prison gate.
O Isabel, why are we useless made? Too weak to enforce, and artless to persuade, nor you nor I can any help afford to your dear brother and my plighted lord. Yet you have means, but must not have the will by evil to prevent a greater ill.
Have I the means? Your grief misleads your tongue.
She is going out.
I would do Claudio good, and you no wrong. Your virtue is severe. Hear me but speak. My heart will else out of my bosom break.
Speak clearly then, you are not understood.
May none do ill, that so they may do good. Nature no greater gift than life can give.
By virtue we our nature long outlive.
Can it be virtue to let Claudio die?
His life should not be saved by infamy.
Loathed infamy consists of evils grown, so impudent as covet to be known. But those seem least which bashfully we shun, at first, and then for good intent are done.
Sister, you argue wildly in your grief. You are too good to seek a bad relief for Claudio, therefore look for no reply.
I look for none, yet would not have him die.
Going out.
You seemed to intimate that bashfulness at evil doing makes the evil less. That, when we good intend by doing ill, we bring necessity to excuse our will, and that our faults, when hidden by our shame, pass free from blemish if they scape from blame.
Forget my words. How could they be but weak, when grief did make those thoughts which fear did speak?
Suppose I can a likely way devise, that you, assisted aptly by disguise, may take to-night my place with Angelo. The means is not remote. What will you do?
I am amazed and apprehend you not.
Your sudden ignorance is strangely got. I now am going to the deputy, to make to his request my last reply. And I perhaps may promise willingness, but on conditions made for my access, with bashful privacy retired from light, from every witness too but secret night, whose thickest curtains shall immure the room, where for my promised person you may come. Thus Claudio's life you save, and lose no fame, for where none sees we cannot feel our shame. Ascribe to dire necessity the ill, the good of it belongs then to your will. Quickly resolve, and I'll prepare your way.
Ere I will Claudio in myself betray, I will the torment of his death endure. His sickness more becomes him than the cure.
How, Juliet? Can you righteously refuse the expedient which you plead that I should use? Go chide the passion which you would have me do, that which, though ill in both, seems least in you. The good or ill redemption of his life does less concern his sister than his wife.
Alas, we know not what is good or ill.
Perhaps we should not learn that fatal skill. The serpent taught it first. Sister, away. We'll more for patience than for knowledge pray.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Balthazar, Beatrice, Gaoler, Page.
Where's Viola? Have I lost her? That scarecrow makes a very bird of her.
She's run upstairs, madam, to inform your cousin Juliet of your being here.
Methinks this fellow looks not only ill, but saucily ill.
How so, madam?
'Tis impudence to show so bad a face in good company. Friend, I'll reward you.
The sooner the better.
You shall wear my colours. Boy, when he comes abroad, bid my lackeys be careful to cudgel him.
I thank you.
Exit Gaoler. Enter Viola.
My cousin Juliet has locked herself in her chamber. I saw her through the keyhole weeping like nurse when she lost her wedding ring.
Juliet, I cannot but pity thy private friendship, but am more vexed at our public enemy, thy judge.
Your tears, madam, show more pity than anger.
No, sir, great storms do oft begin with rain.
Enter Benedick.
I saw your coach at the prison gate, lady, and thought you'd been arrested on suspicion of love, which now is made high treason. Natural bodies by the body politic.
I should marvel, Benedick, how you had the face to come within sight of my sex. But that ill faces, being common, are no cause of wonder.
Mine's a politic face, and few of that sort are held handsome. So politic that it will hardly be seduced to make another in these dangerous times.
So politic as I'd have you walk only at night, and with a dark lantern before you, that, though you see others, none may see you. You are one of those whom I think unlucky.
This gloomy place presents you with strange visions. Your coach attends you. I pray change the scene.
Whither? To see your brother's guards drawn up for Claudio's execution? Lass, poor women, they get much by you men.
Truly, 'tis thought they might get more, for men are always civilly willing, though never blamed. But patience, and we shall have right when we are heard.
Heard? Yes, may she who henceforth listens to your sighing sex have her ass ears in public board, as love's known slave, and wear for pendants morris bells as his fantastic fool.
No whispering the Platonic way?
Platonic way? My cousin has Platoed it profoundly, has she not? In the name of mischief, make friends with yourself, and not with us. Let every Damon of you choose his Pythias, and tattle romantic philosophy together, like bearded gossips.
Though such conversation might breed peace in a palace, yet 'twould make but a thin court.
Discourse all day, lolling like lazy ill-bred wits with your right legs or your left knees, defining love till he become as raw as if he were dissected by anatomists. Give balls and serenades to your dear selves.
That were, as we are taught by the old proverb, to be merry and wise.
Enter Lucio.
We shall be more troubled with this fiddling friar than with 10 lay fools. He has so infected the provost with good counsel that there is no hope from him. The guards are doubled at the prison gate, and Claudio is to die at break of day.
Where's now your valour, sir? Is furious Benedick, like beasts of prey, courageous only in the field, and with familiar tameness creeps in towns beneath the anger of your feeders' law? Gaoler, where are you? Bring me to my cousin.
Exit Beatrice, Viola.
She's raised to a most amiable humour. Now's your time, Lucio, to make love to her.
I am now for the platonic way of billing, like meek turtles, without the noise of passion.
We, Lucio, who are parcel lovers, should mourn like turtles over a bottle in these days of persecution.
Signors, prepare to offend the laws. I find I must grow rude and make bold with my brother.
Exeunt omnes. Enter Provost, Duke.
The guards thus doubled at the prison gate confirms my doubt that Signior Benedick did counterfeit the pardon which he brought.
You have another prisoner here condemned to die?
The wicked Bernardine hath long been a most painful and a watchful robber, but now in the short remainder of his life he lazily consumes in sleep.
Is he so careless before death?
He minds not what is past, or present, or to come.
He wants advice.
We oft have wakened him as if he were to go to execution, and showed him too a seeming warrant, but he seemed not moved.
Enter Fool.
The hangman waits to dispatch his business with your worship.
Sirrah, his business is with you.
My worship will hardly be at leisure for him.
Call him in.
Enter Hangman.
This fellow, early in the morning, is to help you in your execution. He cannot plead a quality above your service. He has been a noted bawd.
A bawd? Fie on him. He'll disgrace our mystery.
Sir, by your good favour, for surely, sir, you would have a good favour had you not a hanging look. Do you call your trade a mystery?
Yes, you will find it so.
What mystery then should be in hanging? If I were to be hanged, I cannot imagine.
It is a mystery, but you must be hanged ere you can find it out.
Provide your block and axe, and call Bernardine.
Exit Hangman.
What horrid instruments are used by power?
Mr. Bernardine, you must rise and be hanged. Mr. Bernardine.
Within.
Curse on your throat. Who makes that noise? What are you?
Your friend, the hangman. You must be so good as to rise and be put to death.
Away, you rogue. I am sleepy.
Tell him he must wake.
Pray, Mr. Bernardine, awake till you are executed, and sleep afterwards.
Go in and fetch him out.
He's coming, sir, for I hear his straw rustle.
Enter Bernardine.
Oh, now, fool. What's the news with you?
Truly, sir, I would desire you to clap close to your prayers, for the warrant's come.
You're a rogue. I've been drinking all night, and I'm not fitted for the warrant.
The better, sir, for he that drinks all night, and is hanged very betimes in the morning, may sleep the soundlier all the next day.
Look, sir, here comes your ghostly father. Do you think we jest now?
Induced, sir, by my charity, and hearing how hastily you are to depart, I am come to advise you, comfort you, and pray with you.
Friar, not I. I've been drinking hard all night, and will have more time to prepare me, or they shall beat out my brains with billets. I'll not die to-day.
Oh, sir, you must, and therefore I beseech you, look forward on the journey you shall go.
I'll not die till I have slept for any man's persuasion.
But hear you.
Not a word. If you have anything to speak, come to my ward, for I'll not thence to-day.
Exeunt Bernardine, Fool.
What think you of this prisoner, father?
Nature did never make a thing more wretched. He is unfit to live or die. 'Twere want of common charity to transport him in the mind he is. Let him have more time, and be restrained from every nourishment but sleep, till I have made him fit for death.
Enter Gaoler.
Sir, a messenger at the prison gate knocks hard, and says that he must speak with you.
I come. Father, if it please you, let's retire.
Exeunt. Enter Claudio and Fool.
Bolting the door, we are unheard and safe. Thou art man, though in an ill disguise, and shouldst support thy billing worthily.
Why, truly, sir, though I have had a couple of ill callings, yet I would live as well as I could by both.
Thou hast a servant been to shame, and now art but an officer to cruelty? There, take this gold. It is 1,000 crowns. Wilt thou not run a little hazard for much happiness? The venture is not great, and it may probably produce at once thy freedom and support.
Sir, mine is but a thin summer skin. 'Tis often been cut and slashed with whipping. I would very fain sleep whole in it now.
Have courage, friend. 'Tis gold.
My grandam left me nothing at her death but a good old proverb, that's touch and take. And I may say it has been a lucky proverb to me. What would you have me do?
I have within a page's habit, packed up close. Prithee, convey it by your friend, the jailer, to Julietta, whose escape, in that disguise, I newly had contrived by correspondence with an officer who has the foremost station of the guards without, and has been a servant to my father. If thou hast any tenderness, do this, that she may escape from public penance.
But how shall I escape, sir? For I shall do penance without a sheet or a shirt, for my kind tutor, the hangman, will strip me stark naked when I'm swinging, though the wind blow northerly.
The law for thy offence can doom thee but to fetters during life, and half that gold may purchase thy release.
A sore whipping may come into the bargain, but 'tis a poor back that cannot sometimes pay for the maintenance of the belly. I'll do it.
Pray lose no time. I have but little left.
Have you no more gold? Sure you might escape too.
Friend, I have given you all I have, nor could my greater plenty work for my liberty, for my confederate dares not to undertake to make the passage clear for more than one, or if he could, I want disguise for two.
If you could get out, sir, then you 'scape from death.
And she by freedom scapes from dreadful shame of doing penance. Pray, dispute it not.
Knocking within.
What hand is that? If you prove faithful now, you will gain forgiveness for your past offences.
My golden guests, retire you straight into the closet of my breeches. Much in all ages good innocent gold has been laid to your charge.
Puts up the bag and looks through the keyhole.
It is the Lady Juliet's maid. I'll let her in, and bear the habit to her mistress.
Exit fool. Enter maid.
My lady, with this letter, sir, sends you her dearest prayers and love.
Heaven value both, so much as they are praised by me.
Reads the letter.
To Provost's wife. In pity of your distress, or perhaps out of love to your person, or rather, as I hope, out of respect to your virtue, has devised means for your escape, she has by large gifts prevailed with my keeper to leave your passage free to my chamber. I beseech you with efficacy of my last breath to make use of this occasion and to hasten hither. Your way to liberty must be out of my window, from whence my small engine she will wrench the bars.
Can you find leisure to consider, sir, of that which my lady is so well resolved?
The provost's wife? Will she facilitate your lady's liberty with mine?
She says she cannot undertake so far.
Then I will refuse her courtesy.
My lady sends you this request in tears. Will you deny it her?
If my escape I am from her chamber make, the law will lay the guilt of it on her, and she remains behind to bear the punishment.
She hath agreed to that condition with the provost's wife.
Your lady makes me an unkind request.
Have you the heart to judge it so?
Can she be ignorant that the rigid law does judge it in a prisoner forfeiture of life, to help another prisoner to escape who is condemned to die?
That forfeiture she cheerfully will pay, but has so governed me with desperate vows that I lacked courage to refuse to bring this message to you.
How powerful, fatal Juliet, is thy love! Yet must it not more valiant than mine. Tell her I have newly sent her a request more just than that which she has sent by you. It will be brought her with the present too, which if unkindly she denies to take, she does by example my denial make.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Angelo, servant.
Attend her in, and then wait you at distance.
Exit, servant.
O love, how much thy borrowed shapes disguise, even to themselves, the valiant and the wise.
Enter Isabella.
Had you not feared the approach of Claudio's fate, which shows you are to him compassionate, though not to me, I had not seen you here. He may your pity thank, and I your fear.
My lord, I hardly could myself forgive for suing still to have my brother live, but that a higher hope directs my aim, which saving his frail life would yours reclaim.
How desperate all your hopeful visits prove! You bring me counsel still instead of love, and would in storms of passion make me wise, bid pilots preach to winds when tempests rise.
But yet as tempests are by showers allayed, so may your anger by my tears be swayed.
You must by yielding teach me to relent. Make haste, the mourner's tears are almost spent. Courtiers to tyrant death who basely wait to do that tyrant honour whom they hate, inviting formal fools to see his feast, to which your brother is the unwilling guest, and the absolving priest must say the grace. Night's progress done, Claudio begins his race.
And with the morning's wings your cruel doom he shall convey where you must trembling come, before that judge whose power you use so ill, as if like Lot were subject to your will. The cruel there shall wish they had been just, and that their seeming love had not been lust.
These useless sayings were from cloisters brought. You cannot teach so soon as you were taught. You must example to my mercy give. First save my life, and then let Claudio live.
Have you no words but what are only good because their ill is quickly understood? Dispose of Claudio's life, whilst cruel you seem dead by being deaf to all that sue, till by long custom of forgiving none, ye are so averse to all forgiveness grown, that in your own behalf you shall deny to hear of absolution when you die.
How, Isabel? From calms of bashfulness, even such as suppliant saints to heaven express, when patience makes herself a sacrifice, can you to storms of execration rise?
Isabella is going out.
Leave me not full of evil wonder. Stay.
Can it be good to hear what you would say?
He steps in and reaches a cabinet.
In this behold nature's reserves of light, when the lost day yields to advancing night. When that black goddess fine in frosts appears, then starry jewels bright as those she wears, the wealth of many parents who did spare in plenteous peace, and get by prosperous war.
Of that which evil life may get, you make a wonder in a monstrous boast, which death from you as certainly will take, as 'tis already by your parents lost.
Be in this world, like other mortals, wise, and take this treasure as your beauty's prize. Wealth draws a curtain o'er the face of shame, restores lost beauty, and recovers fame.
Catch fools in nets without a covert laid. Can I, who see the treason, be betrayed?
Going out.
Stay, Isabel, stay but a moment's space. You know me not by knowing but my face. My heart does differ from my looks and tongue. To know you much, I have deceived you long.
Have you more shapes, or would you new devise?
I'll now at once cast off my whole disguise. Keep still your virtue, which is dignified, and has new value got by being tried. Claudio shall longer live than I can do, who was his judge, but am condemned by you. The marshal of the guards keeps secretly his pardon sealed, nor meant I he should die.
By shifting your disguise, you seem much more in borrowed darkness than you were before.
Forgive me, who, till now, thought I should find too many of your beauteous sex too kind. I strove, as jealous lovers curious grow, vainly to learn what I was loath to know. And of your virtue I was doubtful grown, as men judge women's frailties by their own. But since you fully have endured the test, and are not only good, but prove the best of all your sex, submissively I woo to be your lover and your husband too.
Can I win free, be by your words subdued, whose actions have my brother's life pursued?
I never meant to take your brother's life, but if in trial how to choose a wife, I have too diffident, too curious been, I'll pardon ask for folly, as for sin. I loved you ere your precious beauties were in your probation shaded at St. Clair, and when, with sacred sisterhood confined, a double enterprise perplexed my mind, by Claudio's danger to provoke you forth from that blessed shade, and then to try your worth.
She that can credit give to things so strange, and can comply with such a sudden change, has mighty faith and kindness too so strong, that the extreme cannot continue long. I am so pleased with Claudio's liberty, that the example shall preserve me free.
Was I, when bad, so quickly understood, and cannot be believed when I am good?
In favour of my sex, and not of you, I wish your love so violent and true, that those who shall hereafter curious be, to seek that frailty which they would not see, may by your punishment become afraid, to use those nets which you ignobly laid.
Ah, Isabel, you blamed my cruelty. Will you, when I show mercy, cruel be?
You might have met a weaker breast than mine, which at approach to parley would incline. How little honour then you had obtained, if where but little was, you that had stained. Had you been great of mind, you would have strove to have hid or helped the weaknesses of love, and not have used temptations to the frail, or power where 'twas dishonour to prevail. You will, if now your love dissembled be, deceive yourself in not deceiving me. If it be true, you shall not be believed, lest you should think me apt to be deceived.
Exit.
Break, heart. Farewell the cruel and the just. Fools seek belief where they have bred distrust. Because she doubts my virtue, I must die, who did with vicious arts her virtue try.
Exit. End of Act 4. Act 5 of The Law Against Lovers by William Davenant. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Duke and Isabella.
You told me, daughter, that the Marshal has your brother's pardon sealed, and I shall watch all means to keep him safe, lest Angelo should turn his clemency into revenge. Do not the assurance of his freedom buy with hazard of a virgin's liberty.
I shall with patience follow your instruction.
Night's shady curtains are already drawn, and you shall hear strange news before the dawn.
Exit Duke. Enter Francisca.
Is the good father gone?
Yes, sister, and has left my breast in peace.
A bell rings.
This bell does nightly warn us ere we sleep, to appease offend heaven. Let us go pray, that the world's crimes may vanish with the day.
Exeunt. Enter Benedick, Aeschylus, Beatrice, Viola, Lucio, singing a chorus within.
Your brother, sir, has an unquiet mind. 'Tis late, and he would take his rest.
We'll sing him to sleep.
Shall he who should live lean with care of the whole commonwealth grow fat with sleep like a Greenland bear?
Rulers are but mortal, and should have rest.
A statesman should take a nap in his chair and only dream of sleep.
These great tame lions of the law, who make offenders of the weak, should still seem watchful, and like wild lions sleep with their eyes open.
Is night a season for singing?
We'll sing like nightingales, and they sing at night.
Take heed, for the grand watch does walk the round.
Signor, when did you hear of nightingales taken by the watch?
Madame, we'll sing. The governor may come if he please, and sigh to the chorus.
I'll bear no part, sir, in your song, nor in your punishment.
Exit Aeschylus.
Our ruler has got the vertigo of state. The world turns round in his politic pate. He steers in a sea where his course cannot last, and bears too much sail for the strength of his mast.
Let him plot all he can, like a politic man,
yet love, though a child, may fit him. The small archer the line such an arrow will find, as with an old trick shall hit him.
Sure Angelo knows love's party is strong, love melts like soft wax the hearts of the young, and none are so old but they think on the taste, and weep with remembrance of kindnesses past.
Let him plot all he can, like a politic man, yet love, though a child, may fit him. The small archer the line such an arrow will find as with an old trick shall hit him.
Love in the wisest is held a mad fit, and madness in fools is reckoned for wit. The wise value love just as fools wisdom prize, which when they can't gain they seem to despise.
Let him plot all he can, like a politic man, yet love, though a child, may fit him. The small archer the line such an arrow will find as with an old trick shall hit him.
Cold cowards all perils of ambition, to dangers of love they leap when they run. The valiant in frolic did follow the boy, when he led them a dance from Greece to old Troy.
Let him plot all he can, like a politic man, yet love, though a child, may fit him. The small archer the line such an arrow will find as with an old trick shall hit him.
Enter Balthazar.
Behind the garden of the Augustines your friends attend. You must be sudden, if you'd be successful.
I come. Bid Lucio in a whisper to retire, and to expect my orders at St. Lawrence Gate. Lady, though you deny sleep to my brother, yet you may do well to allow a little of it to yourself. It grows late, and Viola, methinks, begins to lose an eye with watching in your service.
I love watching and dancing too in moonshine nights, like any fairy.
Can whispers hide your business, Benedick, when you are such a weathercock that with but looking on you I can quickly find where the wind sits? Well, I wish you some danger, that you may get the more honour.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Angelo, Aeschylus.
It is not just I should rebuke them for their harmony of mind. That were to show their rage, and envious malice of the devil, which quarrels with the good, because they have that happiness which he can ne'er enjoy.
My lord, I find you sick for want of rest, and grieve to hear you say the cause of your disease is in yourself.
No sickness, Aeschylus, can be more dangerous than mine, of which the cause is known to that physician who enjoins me to despair of cure.
Your words amaze me.
Enter first servant.
To arms, my lord, to arms! The ancient citizens awaked in terror by the insulting youth, who in loud throngs marched through the streets to the parade.
Hence, coward, thou art frighted by thy dream.
Exit servant. Enter second servant.
My lord, your brother is revolted. Heading a body of disbanded officers, he is in skirmish with your guards to rescue Claudio from the law.
My brother grown my public enemy? This iteration sounds like truth. I was just now sending to declare Claudio's pardon, and to hasten his and Juliet's liberty.
You purposed well, but your performance was too slow.
Enter first servant.
'Tis said the marshal of your guards is slain.
That's a surprise of fortune, for he had Claudio's pardon, and, had he shown it, might perhaps have quenched the mutiny. My armour, and command my guard of Switzes to march, and to make good the pass which leads to St. Jago's port. Haste, Aeschylus, and bid Montano make a sally from the citadel.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Duke Provost.
Lock up your prisoners and secure the gates.
I did suspect by Lucio's menacings that Benedick would Claudio liberty attempt by force, and therefore did provide for opposition to attend the assault. 40 selected from the guards without I have drawn in.
Are they entered?
They are, and bold Ursino does command them.
The expedient which in haste I have prescribed will in extremity be fit to use, though when you threaten it men may think you cruel.
Father, I'll strictly follow your advice.
Offer a parley from the battlements. Be careful, valiant provost, of your charge, and heaven take care of you.
I'll through the postern lead you out. Your function will protect you.
Exeunt. Enter Benedick, Balthazar, officers.
Remove the marshal straight where surgeons may attend his wound, which is not mortal, though his loss of blood deprive him of his speech.
a squadron of the guards, at our approach, retired into the prison, to make good the gates against assault.
Their sudden fear begot that policy, rather to make conditions for themselves than for the place.
The provost will be obstinate.
It may be safer for him to preserve his courage for some other use.
Enter Lucio, Duke.
Father Fox the friar is stolen out of his hole, and is going to make a visit to the geese of his parish.
Lucio, let him pass.
If you give quarter to the enemies of lovers, you will be followed in your next war by none but decrepit old soldiers. The youth will all forsake you.
Unhand him straight. We must, in reverence to his function, make him free.
Peace be with your lordship.
Take care of lovers in your orisons, and the rather because, praying for them, you pray for the Duke. Remember that, friar.
If e'er I see the Duke, sir, he shall know how much he is obliged to you.
Lucio, be steadfast in your station.
Exeunt Duke, Lucio. Provost from the battlements.
Look up. The provost does relent. He seems inclined to parley.
May fortune serve the valiant Benedick in all attempts, but when he does invade the forts of law, where justice would secure the trophies of her victories.
Provost, I take your greeting well, and wish your courage more success than you in your resistance now are like to find. You are too wise to talk of law to those who mean to justify their actions by their swords.
My lord, some honour I have gotten in the face of enemies, and will not lose it in the sight of friends.
You must give Claudio and Julietta liberty, and then your other prisoners and yourself shall undisturbed be at your own dispose.
Claudio, by sentence, is condemned, and sure my office does engage my honour to make good the sentence of the law.
Provost, we come not here to make a war, like women with vain words.
Accept of peace by yielding that which I would gain by a request, or else expect the worst event of force.
Your force I will oppose, and when my temper is too much provoked, perhaps the extremity may make me show you such an object as will hurt your eyes.
Enter Lucio.
My lord, retire to face your brother's power, which now is doubled by a sally from the citadel.
Make good the passage at St. Lawrence gate. And, whilst my squadron does advance, you, Balthazar, must march at distance with the rear.
Orsino, range your partisans. 'Tis now our time to make a sally too.
Exeunt. Clashing of arms within. Enter Beatrice, Viola, lackey.
Sister, sister, can we not hide ourselves?
Fear nothing, Viola, till you are in love. But then our faces we like woodcocks hide, whilst foolish fear, which is in women shame, makes us but tempt the fowler to give aim.
Enter first page.
Madam, all's our own.
Well, speak. You were one of those messengers who lost his wages by his diligence, running so fast to bring good news that he wanted breath to utter it.
Count Benedick's a most substantial man. Would the sun were up, that his friends might see how he stands to it, whilst his enemies fly from him.
He is a substance fit to stand to the sun to make a shadow, and being the substance, Lucio must be the shadow. If Benedick fly first, Lucio will not fail to follow him.
There is no end of Count Benedick's valour.
Valiant without end, that is, stout to no purpose.
Enter second page.
Oh, madam, Count Benedick is lost.
How? This foolish boy was ever given to lying. Lackey, go out and bring me truth, such truth as I shall like, or else return no more.
Madam, all the maids.
Oh, peace, your intelligence comes from the laundry.
Well, I fear the news may be true then. They know what they say. Carlo, tell it me.
Page and Viola whisper.
My eyes are not prophetical. Perhaps they melt too soon. Lost, valiant Benedick, lost by thy noble kindness for my sake, who, whilst I pitied Claudio in his danger, had of thy safety no indulgent care.
Enter Balthazar.
Madam, pardon my haste, which is as rude as any unseasonable visit.
Tell me, I pray, the business of this night.
Count Benedick began it with success, who to redeem unhappy Claudio from the arms of death, and Juliet from the shame of public penance, did assault the guards attending near the prison gate, and at the first encounter did disperse that force.
This is no wonder, for in honour's game, where many throw at the last great stake, life as if 'twere but light gold, young gamesters oft are lucky.
The provost offered parley, but denied to yield the prisoners, and the cause which made him obstinate grew quickly evident. By old Montano's sally from the citadel, and Angelo's advance with all his wits, these were by valiant Benedick repulsed.
I'm not sorry now that I have his picture, for the vain gentleman will quickly grow so altered by success, that without his image I should hardly know him.
Lord Angelo would have retired into the citadel, but in the strife of that retreat, brave Benedick received a wound.
A wound! Oh, excuse me, Balthazar, if I assume the feeling of your friendship to him, and pity him for your sake.
The wound was slight, and rather served to augment his courage than to waste his strength.
Well, I'll allow him courage. Pray proceed.
With many shouts saluted, he again summoned the provost, who, enraged at our resistance of his sally from the prison, licensed his anger even to cruelty. For, as a dire expedient to prevent the occasion of a new assault, he doomed young Claudio to endure the bloody axe, and from the battlements showed us his head.
Enough! Oh, your story grows too dismal to be heard. Dead Claudio yet is more happy than living Juliet. Pray be brief, if you have any other sorrows to reveal.
The cruel provost having thus provoked Count Benedick, he straight prepares to storm the prison, and the assault was scarce begun, when suddenly our sovereign duke breaks forth, from the dark cloud of that disguise in which it seems he hath remained concealed in Turin.
The Duke in town?
Most visibly in person and in power, for by his high command victorious Benedick is now with conquered Angelo, and both are prisoners to the provost.
Sudden and strange.
Lord Angelo is kept from visitants, to make him ignorant of what is past, and by the strictness of the guards to Benedick, 'tis whispered and suspected that he will be sentenced for rebellion.
I'll to the Duke. He's full of clemency, a prince who by forgiving does reclaim, and tenderly preserve for noble use, many whom rigid justice, by exemplar death, would make for ever useless to the world.
'Tis fit you hasten to him.
In his own arms he bred my infancy. He ever yielded to me when I sued for men who had no other plea to get their pardon but their misery. And sure he'll not deny me when in tears I kneel for valiant Benedick.
Exeunt. Enter Duke in his own habit, Escalus, Provost, Friar Thomas, attendants.
In favour of that power which I did leave in Angelo's possession as my substitute, I have relieved him from his brother's fury. But Angelo, in his short government, disfigured and disgraced that fair resemblance which he wore of me by many blemishes.
Though your accustomed clemency should give him leave to use his eloquence in own's defence, yet he would silence it, and hope for no relief but from your gracious mercy.
Provost, he is your prisoner now with Benedict. Take care they do not meet.
Sir, they are severed under watchful guards.
'Tis well. Go, do what further I enjoined you.
I humbly beg your highness pardon for my ignorance of what you were, when you were pleased to make your visits in disguise.
You need no pardon, but have merited my thanks and favour.
Exit Provost.
Is it your highness's will that I attend you?
I've left your habit, but will ne'er forsake your company nor counsel. Father, now you must make haste, and do as I directed.
I shall be diligent in both of your commands.
Exit Friar Thomas.
You, Aeschylus, complain of being wronged by having been made ignorant of all these evils past. I left you not to sleep away your time.
If you vouchsafe me not your pardon, I shall with shame receive my punishment, though it is better to be ignorant than to be guilty.
Enter Beatrice, Viola, 2 pages, lackey.
As virtuous virgins by their vows to heaven have brought you here, so may their prayers preserve you long amongst us.
I thank you, beauteous maid, but I perceive affliction in your eyes. Whence does it come?
I am a lowly suitor to your highness.
I hope you are not so unfortunate as to desire a benefit which I unwillingly shall grant.
If no offenders were, then sovereign power would have no use of mercy. Though Benedick has much offended, yet forgive that valour which by yours was bred, and let him not be lost who was misled.
Your heart is altered since I saw you last. Can Benedict in his affliction now prevail, and be petitioned for by you who scorned him when he did in triumph sue? This riddle I will leave to Eschalus. Give me a quick account of it. I shall consider and take care of your request.
Exeunt several ways. Enter Angelo, Friar Thomas.
In the perplexity of fight, when I was forced to a retreat, I did suppose my brother, to procure the people to his side, had published but in artifice the Duke's return.
The Duke is certainly in town, and has, during the time of your vice-regency, remained here in disguise. He did converse with Isabella, and continually received from her true knowledge of her griefs, and by what art you have afflicted her.
Oh, father, I am lost.
Could you suppose you were your brother's prisoner here?
In the dark mist of our encounter, I was led to that mistake.
'Twas a mistake indeed, for Benedick's your fellow prisoner now, and under strict command.
I know him noble, though by passion urged to this outrageous violence against my ill-disposed authority, and had he now been free, I easily should have hoped his favour with the Duke might have procured my peace and pardon too. But in my strict restraint, how, father, did you get this visit?
By an especial leave to comfort you.
Enter Provost.
The Provost has perhaps occasion of concernment with you. I'll take leave a while.
Exit Friar.
My lord, with blushes I appear in the presence of your most unhappy fortune, ashamed of my authority. But 'tis your highness' will that you should now be subject to my power, who have been long governed by yours.
You will be civil to me, Provost, if you think I am contented with this charge.
You are so well prepared for grief that I may now ask leave to tell you he, whom you did hastily condemn, was with despatch, as fatal as your sentence, executed.
Who can you mean?
The unhappy Claudio.
Is he executed? The Marshal had his pardon sealed.
The Marshal, who is now in hope of cure, was by his wound last night in the first charge deprived of speech. So, by the law of destiny, your purposed remedy against your law was known too late. For, to divert the fury of the assault, by taking from his friends that hope which was the cause of strife, I did appoint him for the axe, and from our battlements showed them his head.
All my sinister stars have met at once in consultation how to ruin me.
A moment ere his death, a friar, who was official here, did marry him to Juliet. And therefore now I come to know how far you, by your plentiful estate, will please to give subsistence to his mourning widow. You know that his possessions and her dowry, he dying guilty by the sentence of the law, are both confiscate to the Duke.
My bosom is too narrow for this grief. I give her all I have.
Enter Eschalus.
My lord, I grieve to tell you that the Duke, as a reward to Isabel's virtue for her sufferings, has already by his promise given her the intended confiscation of your lands and treasure.
'Tis righteously bestowed. But where, alas, she having all is Juliet's recompense?
Let's leave him, signor, to his thoughts.
Exit Provost.
How wisely fate ordained for humankind calamity, which is the perfect glass wherein we truly see and know ourselves. How justly it created life but short, for, being incident to many griefs, had it been destined to continue long, fate, to please fools, had done the wise great wrong.
Enter Isabella.
I come, my lord, to see you in eclipse. You did too hurtful to mine eyes appear, when with your glory you did fill your sphere.
Is it revenge that hath this visit bred, or are you hither by compassion led?
With no revenge nor pity I comply, but come, perhaps, in curiosity, as in a great eclipse the curious run, to inform themselves exactly of the sun. For, when his light is lessened, they see more of his unevenness than they saw before.
The spots in him only imagined be, but but all reported stains are true in me.
As your confession of the worst of you seems now to utter more than does seem true, so of the best of you, which is your love, perhaps you told much more than you could prove.
In an ill season you require a test to assure you of that love which I professed, when I can offer nothing that is fit to be a pledge to make you credit it, since all I had is by the Duke, as due to injured virtue, freely given to you.
Take back your wealth, improperly consigned to me, who prize no wealth but of the mind.
How, Isabel? Would you a present make of such a gift as you disdain to take? It would more worthy of your bounty prove to keep such trifles, and to give me love. But I would have what you can never give. Claudio is dead, whose life should make me live.
I shall redeem you now from half your fear. I must be gone, but Claudio shall appear.
Exit.
What may this mean? Virgin so soft as she can never pleasure take in cruelty. Heaven often wonders does propitious grow, fortune no faster ebbs than it can flow.
Enter Claudio, Julietta.
Let those who lost their youth retire to graves, death's closets, where though there be privacy, yet there is never use of thoughts. Let us thank heaven that we have life, since we together may enjoy it.
From a wild tempest where we both were lost, heaven lands us strangely on a flowery coast.
Since none could thus recovered be by heaven, were not the crimes which lost them quite forgiven, let us express a kind forgiveness too.
Honour, would that without religion do?
Are you the mortal substances of forms which you resemble, Claudio and Julietta, yet, like immortal angels, can so much of good forgiveness speak?
What act hath Angelo severely done, for which his brother Benedick hath not by kindness ample satisfaction given?
How is this wonder to be understood?
Enter Benedick.
The provost, brother, has to happy purpose deceived us by the death of Bernardine. Let us embrace and mutually exchange forgiveness.
Sure our offences to each other will admit excuse, since the authority of mighty love did sway us both. This meeting has much comfort in it, though it be in prison.
Enter Beatrice, Viola.
Where is the rebel?
No rebel, lady, to your power.
If you had erred that way, you'd never been forgiven. But you may offend your prince as often as you please. There's your pardon.
Gives him a paper sealed.
I hope you'll not undo me.
How so, sir?
I'm afraid 'tis a licence for marriage.
No, sir. Plays that end so begin to be out of fashion.
Do you not see your cousin Juliet? She has been advised by a bald dramatic poet of the next cloister to end her tragicomedy with Hymen the old way.
Beatrice salutes Julietta.
Alas, poor cousin, love has led thee a dance through a brake of thorns and briars.
Madam, take heed. Though he be blind, he may find the way to lead you too.
Warrant ye, I'll run from that foolish boy, and then let him try to overtake me.
A shout within.
The Duke! The Duke! The Duke!
Enter Duke, Isabella, Escalus, Provost, Friar Thomas, guards, attendants, Balthazar, Lucio, behind the rest.
The motive which last caused my visits to this prison was to give good counsel and to reclaim the ill-advised. But now I come to countenance the reclaimed, I can relate your latter story, Angelo, and am not ignorant, Benedict, of yours. But in remembrance of your former merits, I forget your late attempts.
Your Highness makes an hourly conquest of our hearts, and we must humbly bow in thankfulness for your continual clemency.
The eye of power does not alone observe the heights, but lower regions of the world. I have a convert here, whom I would see.
Call Bernardine.
Is he alive?
I am more willingly appeased, because the fury of the last encounter has not lost me any of my subjects' lives. The marshal's free from danger of his wound. And, as the military sword has not prevailed so far as life, so justice, with contrition satisfied, did sheathe up hers.
Enter Jailer, Fool, Bernardine.
There's no harm yet.
I hope we shall all escape.
The provost, whose fidelity I shall reward, did in the storm preserve from wrack this penitent, and from the battlements deceived you with the head of one who of a natural sickness died in the prison.
Under your highness's favour, I suspected afar off that 'twas not Bernardine's, by a small wart upon his left eyelid.
You were not bid to speak.
No, an't please your highness, nor wished to hold my peace.
Lucio, you will be talking.
Remember, Bernardine, your vows to heaven, and so behave yourself in future life. Then I shall ne'er repent my mercy.
I am your highness's debtor for this life, and for the occasion of that happiness which may succeed it after death.
Is there not, father, in this company, one too much troubled with a liberal tongue, who hath traduced me to a brother of your cloister?
Yes, sir, and here behold the man.
Who, I, father? I know you not.
No, sir, but I know you.
I shall be glad, sir, of your acquaintance, for my confessor is lately dead.
But, Lucio, you perhaps would know me too, should I again put on the habit which I wore, when boldly to my face you did traduce me in this prison.
If your highness, forgiving now so many, will pardon me too, I'll hereafter hang a padlock at my lips, and this good father shall keep the key of it.
Your slanders, Lucio, cannot do me harm. Be sorrowful, and be forgiven.
Thy mother hath bewitched thee the right way, for no sword can pierce thee.
Think me not singular, because I did myself a while depose. For many monarchs have their thrones forsaken for a cloistral life, and I, perhaps, may really that habit take, which I have worn but in disguise.
That were to undo the world by leaving it.
Whilst so you seek imagined happiness, we all shall find essential misery.
My resolutions are not soon removed. I'm old and weary of authority, but ere I leave it quite, since I have no successors of my own, let me dispose of best advantages to those whom I esteem, who may enjoy my power. Lend me, chaste Isabella, your fair hand, which with your heart I dedicate to Angelo. He now sufficiently that virtue knows, which he too much, too curiously has tried.
I've so long your counsel followed with success, as I am taught not to suspect much happiness will still attend the obedience which does yield to your command.
I fear my joys are grown too great to last.
I have a good occasion, Benedict, to thank you now for your successful toils and victory in the Milan war, for which, in ample recompense, I give you but the heart which I perceive you had before. The witty war, which you so long have had with virtuous Beatrice, now must gently end in joyful triumphs of a nuptial peace.
Take heed, our quarrel begin again, and the end of this long treaty will but bring the war home to your own doors.
I'll venture. 'Tis but providing good store of cradles for barricadoes to line my chamber.
Be happy, Claudio, in your faithful Juliet. The persecutions of your loves are past.
They feel not joy, who have not sorrow felt. We through afflictions make our way to heaven.
Fool, I've a mind to marry your grandmother.
She stays for you in the church, and will prove a sweet bedfellow, for she has not been buried above a month.
Provost, open your prison gates, and make your prisoners free. The story of this day, when 'tis to future ages told, will seem a moral drawn from a poetic dream.
End of Act 5. End of The Law Against Lovers by William Davenant.